Hello, hello, happy beaders. How are you today? Are you having a good Saturday? Let's see here. Hello, welcome, welcome. Gonna make some pretty little heart earrings today. How are you? Do our little gift of love heart earrings, which is off of our pretty little leaves. So if you did not catch that, we do have our instructions for the pretty leaves earrings posted on the event page and on our Facebook page. Also in our Just Bead It Happy Beaders group. You can also find it in the PDF files. We're just switching using the same techniques and everything. I'm just switching the leaves to hearts today. Oh, is it cold there? It is. It has been cold here in our part of California too, but it's nice and sunny out right now. Although I know that it's smoky in some areas. Hello from South Carolina. Welcome, Cynthia. South Florida, Pam. Good to see you on here. And Leanne, well, hi. Good to see you on here. Hi, Evelyn. So we're going to do a little briolette wrap on these hearts. It's a great technique to learn. So if you want to do things on little stones, I have a sample of that too to show you. So you can get our little PDF or our JPEG form of our pretty leaves earrings. And so it is done step by step with the instructions and everything on there. Hi, Deborah. Hello, hello. Welcome, Evelyn. It's great to see everyone. Hi, Tina. Welcome, welcome. So I have a few things. I'm going to flip over. Let's see. And let's see if I can. So if you do want to be part of our Facebook group, I'm posting that link. You do have to join, and then once we approve your request, you can find it in the files section. Oh, hello, Carolyn. Say hi to Greg for me. Good to see you on here. Thank you for joining. Hi, Terry. Hi, Christine. Oh, there's a blizzard in Connecticut, huh? Well, Terry, I hope you are all snug as a bug and cozy and ready to go. Thank you, Leanne. Hi, Gail. It is great to see so many people on today. Thank you for joining me. You can also, and Margaret, welcome. Let's see, we also, yeah, I think that's what I need to post right now. I'm going to flip the camera around so that we can start showing off all these fun little things, right? Let's see if I can get there. Hello, New Jersey. I don't know. You know what? It's all good. Hello, Sandra. It is all good. I am horrible with names. I usually know people better because of their beads than I know them for their name. So I totally don't mind. My last name is with a T. Maybe that's where it is. Hello, Pennsylvania, the wonderful. It's so cool to see where everybody is from. Connecticut. Oh my gosh, I just love it. Love it. It just makes me so, oh, you don't need to see the ceiling. Let's see if we could flip that the right way. Sometimes I could do it, right? All right, so we have here, let's get our little tray out. So the things that I am using today are are, I'm going to use these 10mm crystal hearts. I'm going to use 3 different colors. The picture that you saw was of the garnet with the AB on it, which they do flip back and forth. I've done the garnet, even though, so when they put the AB on the backing of hearts, it a lot of times shows more gold, which is, but even these ones I did gold, but I've done it with silver and it looks just fine. And they will flip around a little bit. I made them so that they are front facing with the garnet. One nice thing about the AB, it does make the light reflect in the garnet so they don't look as dark and they look way more red, which I like with it. But this time I did do it with the gold. But today I'm going to do 3 colors in greens and blues. So I'm doing peridot, emerald, and dark indigo. We actually do have these on our Etsy now listed in either sets of 2 packs or 10 packs. So if you wanted to do one color like this is, you could get a 10 pack and you'll be able to make one full because you need 6 of them total. And then maybe you could do one that you just have 2 little dangles like that. You know, you don't have to put all 3 dangles on. And we also did them in 2 packs so you can mix and match your colors. So let's post that little, boom. Here's the link to our Etsy if you're interested in those. We are, as you know, we are slowly building our Etsy back up, doing inventory and checking on things little by little. We did get our, from last week, these are up now on there. So you could get the earrings. It's in a separate, let's see if I still have that on my, oh, come on. See if I can get to it. I don't know if I still have this one. Oh, yes, there's that one. There's the link to the earrings and the link to the pendant. So the pendant is in a separate listing than the earring. So those are there. You can find those on our Etsy. So those are back up. So we do have these crystals up. I'm going to be using 22 gauge wire in the Soft Flex craft wire for these today. And then I'm going to be using a pair of ear wires. And then I'm going to use this small round cable. Our chain's not back up, but I have 3 chains to show you today, and those are going to get listed shortly after the live. Oh, Terry, please take a picture and share. I love seeing what people do with them. I know there's so many things you could do in with these hearts. So this is just one thing, and they're so lovely. They are, they are the crystal that shall not be named no longer, and they just shine so pretty. Oh yeah, it's very cold from Florida. I am so it has been a cold year, I think. I know, I think these greens and that blue, I just think is going to look so pretty. Oh, you're in, Joanne, you're in a nice warm part of California. That is wonderful. Yeah, those blizzards. I'm so glad to be inside, and not have to be that. Trinidad, welcome, welcome. See, this is so wonderful to see all these people that are from all over. It just warms my heart on a cold day. Hi, in Michigan, wonderful. Louisiana. See, isn't that just like the best? Isn't it so fun that we can all be here together like this? So there is going to be a few finishes in that up there. And that is what I'm going to be using for today. I have a pair of Roundnose Pliers, and I'm going to have 2 pairs of Chainnose Pliers. Forgot to pull out the second pair. And there's no jump rings in this case. You can use jump rings. You can always make your pieces and then add it to the chain with jump rings. And then my pair of wire cutters. So those are going to be, that's the tools I'm using. You can use whatever wire cutters that you have. Try to get ones that come to a nice point. Of course, these are Tronics, which is on a little higher end, but well worth it if you do a lot of wiring. But I've used my Italian made ones, and I've used some cheaper ones, but I always look for ones that go to a point and have a flat set side. They are usually considered semi-flush, ultra flush, depending on the quality. That way you can get into tight places easier. Just before we get going on here, I do want to show you how, so in, you know, we're taking it from our pretty leaves. This gives you kind of as you can see, there's not that much. There's about 3 inches of chain, 2 ear wires, about 2 feet of 22 gauge wire, and 6 drops that are top drilled in the leaves to make the pretty leaves earrings, which are fantastic and great earrings. I love mine. I wear them a lot. That's why I don't have them here, because I wear them too often and don't know where they are. But I wanted to show you also that you can, you know, we have it in the heart that we're doing today, but we could do it with stone too. I mean, I showed this so that you can learn how to do it with your stone. And I like to show it on like the glass top drill leaves or these crystal hearts, because the holes are bigger and they're easier to manipulate. And so learning on the 22 gauge wire is a great way to really see it and have control of the wire. Whereas these ones, because this is amethyst, it has a really tiny hole. If you notice, my wire is really thin. So I'm using 26 on these. So stones, you're going to find that you're going to need 24, 26 gauge wire. And but because of that, it's so tiny, and then these holes, you know, if I wasn't careful, those holes can break right off. So you could do this, you know, you got to be really careful with the stones, because the hole is really close to the tip, and they usually have smaller holes. So I'm going to show you on things that are not going to break nearly as easily, so that you can practice and learn it that way, and then you can conquer your stone ones, right? Oh yeah, you know, glass, it can break too. Yeah, that is true. There is ways to break those glass tips of those beads, and there is ways to break those crystal hearts too. It does happen, but just not as often as the stone. So that's why. And just as an idea, if you got one of these collections that we did that I used for my wire crochet a couple weeks ago, I'm planning on doing a pair of earrings with either one or mixture of all these drops, and maybe not do 3 dangles. I might do like 5, just to make it a little more substantial. So when I get that finished, I will post that so you can see what that looks like. So this technique can be used in so many things, and which I love. And other chains, if you looked, I have this bigger, because these stones are a little bit bigger than, say, these hearts and the leaves. I went with a bigger chain on there. For this size, for those like the glass drops that I just showed, and these hearts and the leaves, I'm going to use this round circle chain, but this flat oval chain, oh, that's not the one. This is a oval Rollo chain here, And where's the end? Oh, that's why I don't have the end out. Where's the end of this one? And this flat oval chain right here has such a nice flat edge that just shines and sparkles really well. These are great. All of these chains are great for this type of thing. I've used Figaro chain, I've used other chain too, but you definitely want to have something that has at least one large hole. If it's just a small hole, it really makes it hard to connect. So yes, you know, this technique is fabulous for so many types of drop beads. It is really useful. Okay, so those are other chains that are going to go, those are 2 other chains that are going to go up this weekend also. And we are back in gear. So I'm going to start out with making my briolette wrap. Now I do want to cut my chain. Now I'm using the same count because, it works because these hearts are very similar in length and I'm using the same chain, and it's very similar in length to the hearts are to the leaves that I had on the previous one. When I did do, what happened to my amethyst earrings? Oh, they're hiding from me. They were right here. Oh, when I used this other chain, I did a different count on it. And you do have to kind of figure out your length. So if you don't know, if you don't know what your lengths are, don't pre-cut them, because then you can build them as you go. But with this, I know what the lengths I want. So I am going to cut 2 pieces that are 4 lengths long, and then 2 pieces that are 8 lengths long. I tend to like to have, oh my gosh, yeah, with the blizzard, very much so. That could easily be the reason why you're losing our live. Oh, luckily this will be available to watch in the replay, although, you know, it's really fun to be here during the live. But you can watch it in the replay, and I am moving our videos over to our YouTube afterwards also. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to count 4 and cut the 5th so that I have, so I needed 1 more like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no, don't lose that, Joyce. One, 2. Oh my gosh, I can't keep it in place. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good, that one right there. And then I'm going to count 8 and cut the 9th. Okay, and if you don't want to count it, you could take a piece of your wire dangle the chain on it that you cut already, and then scoop the other one and then I could cut and make them match. Boom, makes it a lot easier. So now I have all these little bits. So get rid of those little bits. I got 2 4 links and 2 8 links. Gonna put my chain away because I don't need any more. I am gonna cut a length. So I like to work off, you could cut these into small pieces. You have six of them. So you could cut them into probably like 3 or 4 inch So that would be 4-inch pieces. But I have a tendency to like to work off of one length, and then therefore I can adjust it as I go. If you mess up, you're going to need a little bit more than the 2 feet, but at least you have somewhere to go with. So I'm going to just cut a piece that is 2 feet long, or actually I'm going to just cut a piece that is I'm going to do 2. I'm just going to do the 2. Do 1 or 2. If you're new to wiring, I suggest do 1. And then I'll get you like 3 dangles, and then you have the other piece that you can cut. If you're not new to wire, you might be able to handle the 2 feet easily. Yeah, you know, I am using Mitronics. Now these are they are pricey. They are, I don't know, somewhere between $65 and $70. I'm using the 7223 model. There's several different ones. But the 7223 Tronics is what I'm using today. They are fabulous for cutting thinner chains like I'm doing here, but also the wires. I think I could go up to, it's supposed to be able to go up to 18 gauge in copper. I do test them out a little bit and I sometimes use it with my 16 and my 14 gauge. But that being said, there is we have a red and black handled one made from Bead Mat, and that is wonderful. And then like soft flex yellow and black handled ones made in that are Italian made are wonderful. Ones that don't cost as much, and they work really, really well with chain and with wire. So if you don't have the budget for that, if you don't, we missed the holidays, might not have another birthday or anniversary for that, or maybe you're ready to spend the money, I will say the Tronics are really worth the money if you do a lot of cutting of wire and chain. Don't use it on heavy chain, and definitely, of course, don't do it on like stainless steel chain or memory wire. But yeah, I love my Tronics, and so that's why that's what I keep using. I use them a lot. Oh no, you broke them. Oh, that's so sad. Occasionally they do break. I have one that I did break off, the tip broke off. And it is sad when that happens. But like I said, the Italian made ones that are yellow and black, that have yellow and black handles that I think it's yellow and black, or is it green and black? No, I think it's yellow and black with Soft Flex company. That they carry is a wonderful one. And the one that we have on our Etsy that is black and red handled is a good one. That is more budget. It's better than, it's like a midway kind of thing. If you're doing stainless steel, I would say that you're probably going to want something that is going to cut memory wire. Or I want to say, let me think. I think Xuron has a cutter that it cuts that has a better tip. Like memory wire cutters tend to have a thick tip, so it's hard to get into small places. So I believe Xuron has a good cutter. That's Xuron, and then Lindstrom has one that's for heavy thick metals and hard metals. I don't remember mine has a yellow handle is all I remember, and I don't know where that one is, so I can't give you the model number for it, but that one's a good one for things. So you do want to look for something that does stainless steel. Sterling silver is soft like copper, so you're able to do, if you're doing sterling silver or gold filled, you can use the same things that we're using today, but for stainless, you got to be, they mark up your cutters so fast because of the type of blade they are, metal that they're made out of. So true. This is something that like you could do it, and then like if you don't do it for a while, you need like a little refresher. So I am going to start out with what, so I have my 2 feet of wire. Those are wonderful questions, by the way. I do appreciate it. It's fun to share knowledge. So if anybody has a favorite cutter for like stainless steel or for wire, you know, put it in the comments. Let's share, right? I'm just showing you what I use a lot. So I have one end of my 2 feet. You could cut it down to 1 foot at a time if that makes it easier, because 2 feet is kind of long. You're going to go about 1.5 inches from one end. And I'm taking my, why don't we use my other ones? I'm taking my Chainnose pliers. So those are, remember, are the ones that are flat on the inside that goes to a point and they have no teeth. About 1.5 inches from one end, you're going to take it with the tip and fold it so to make like a little triangle angle there. So you got the 1.5 inches up and the rest of it going down at the base of your, like a triangle. Oh yes, those memory wire cutters from Xuron are great. I think they have like a thinner tipped one that works well too. Yeah, Xuron's a great, they have great pliers and cutters also. Now I'm going to thread on so this is going to be my leaf. I'm going to do the leaf that is, no, this is my first leaf without any chain. So I'm going to do my top. I had the peridot at the top and then the emerald and the dark indigo. So I'm going to do my peridot. And then I'm going to just roll that on the long end so that it comes up to that triangle tip. There. Now I want to bend this wire on this side. This is the key thing here though. If I was just to hold on to the bead and then move this wire, this is where things break, especially with the stone, but also with the glass and the crystal. So what I like to do is I like to flip it the other way, swing it over to this other side here, right? Take my, I know this peridot is just such a pretty, it's not what I think of peridot as the stone, but the crystal peridot is still so lovely. And then I am going to place, so this is the 1.5 inch side. I'm going to place that wire and I'm going to hold where that bend is, because really the one thing you want to look for is trying not to, anytime you try to move this wire, it puts pressure in the hole of your bead that you're attaching. So if you can brace the wire like I am right now, I'm holding just that side and the bend is right here and I'm trying to hold as much of that wire in there. So if you notice, I'm way down here. I'm not just holding it with the tip of my pliers. I could hold it with my tip of my pliers, but it tends to move a little bit. So if I brace it a little further down, it won't wiggle as much. So that I'm braced, not all the way down to the crook or the inside there, but you know, right there. That's okay. I am just kind of getting started. We haven't done too much. We've been talking about cutters and wire and chain and oh my, all these fun things. And then what I'm doing is going to go on this other side with another pair of chain nose pliers. That's why I'm using 2. And I'm just going to start the bend with my chain. Ooh, got to hold on to that though. To start it with my pliers. Now, when I start it with my pliers, you can only go so far. If you look at it, it can only go so far because the tips of the pliers are now kind of hitting the bead, right? So then I got to move up, and I can either now use my fingers to do it, but if I wanted a little straighter, I can just use my pliers and bend. And I'm going to switch it over the other way. Maybe, no, I'm going to stick with this side. My wire is almost too long here for me to do this. The 1 foot might be my better bet. So I may be cutting that soon. And then I'm just going to, ooh, that's not in focus. So how would you see that if it's not in focus? So I'm just going to get it so that they are, you can kind of let go now. Maybe hold here on this side and bend it more. And see, now I got my little triangle up above it. And when you look at from the front, it looks great. And from the side, it looks pretty good too. They cross over in a pretty neat triangle. You may have to adjust your triangle a little bit depending on the tip of your bead. So I might actually hold this side and loosen up a little bit on my, I think I made too sharp of a turn on the first one. So that was my 1.5 inch side. And then this kind of bowed a little bit. So I'm going to just flatten it with my pliers a little bit. There we go. See? So you can adjust it to make it look a little neater. But the key is to try to put the pressure more, like get those bends in the wire with the pliers and just holding onto the wire itself so it doesn't put any pressure on the bead. At this point, you're going to now need to you want to make their crossing like an X above the bead. But we want the long wire to, or the short wire to go straight up and the long wire to go straight to the side. So again, I'm going to brace, hold on to that side of the triangle below where it crosses, and then with the other tip, pliers, I'm going to go and grab it and bend it to the side so that the long one's going straight outwards now. And then I'm going to switch over and hold. Now hold on the side that works best. If you need to hold with your left and bend with your right on both sides, then you just flip it around. I can sometimes do either one. Sometimes I need to. Now I'm holding on to this end. Maybe. There we go. And I want the short 1.5 inch piece go straight upwards. So now I have this triangle base with the short end going straight up and the long end going to the side. Now we're going to take on the short end here. I'll go a little closer, that might work better. I am going to take my round nose pliers and I'm leaving some space because I'm going to create a leg with the wire that is going to get then this with the short wire. I'm going to make a loop and then create a leg underneath, and then I'm going to wrap with my long end around it to secure it so it doesn't open up. So I'm leaving some space there. I am going to brace this wire though, because again, I want to try to brace the wire with my pliers instead of holding it here, because if I put pressure while I'm trying to, like if I go to do this now and I go to press it, I could kind of do it, but there's pressure inside that hole with the wire, and that's one of the spots. This is one of the times that people break those stone briolettes. So by holding in this wire and twist away, and I just twist it away slightly to start my loop. I'm gonna move it down this way, and then up and over and down in front. Reposition my pliers. So that just made like a part loop. Do you see? I'm gonna grab hold and cross my wire underneath. So it's like I'm getting ready for a wrap loop. So make your wrap loop, you know, get ready for a wrap loop, however is the easiest way for you. That's my way of doing it. But instead of wrapping, what we're now gonna do is I'm gonna take this wire and make a little leg that goes downwards. So I'm gonna hold right where the wire crosses, well, in this case crosses under or over, whichever direction you went. And then I'm going to take that short end and bend it downwards. And do you see how it's now there's like 2 wire stems here. I'm going to cut off that extra wire on that 1.5 inches that I had there. Whoop, take that off. And now I have this little leg, right? That little leg. I'm going to take my pliers and make sure that leg is, so I just kind of flatten that part so it's right up against the initial stem. Yes, this is, it's hard because sometimes I'll call this a simple or basic briolette, but it is complicated in this sense. I mean, there are easier ways to do it, but they're not as secure. And in 22 and 20 gauge wire is not so bad, but when you are working with that 26 gauge wire for like stones like these, you want that to be super secure. You know, and sometimes you want to make this longer and you add a little bead in it and it works great. And that's another simple way to do it. But when you don't want to add any length to it and you just want the basicness of the look of a basic wrap, you got to make this little extra leg. And that extra leg, because if I just cut that wire, so this is going to make it so that, I mean, I could wrap it around and then instead of making that leg, I could have wrapped it around and then wrapped this one around over the wrap. And that is a great look. It definitely gives like that more boho messy chic look. But when you want it to be a little more streamlined, having that little leg to catch in this wrap of the wire that I'm about to do, it allows it to be a little more streamlined and will work with certain kinds, a different kind of aesthetic in your jewelry. So I'm holding on to the triangle part of the long wire now. And I am going to wrap this wire, catching that leg and working my way up. So depending on how long you make it, you might need to do 3 wraps, you may need to do 4 or 5. You want to try to keep them kind of consistent as you go. But there you go. I will say, once you get this, once you do a few of these, it's not going to feel as complicated as it seems. It's just getting in there. So I am going to kind of push, I kind of tweak that a little bit. So I'm going to straighten that out a little bit with my pliers. and I'm going to squeeze down that little cut from that cut that I made, that wire. There it goes. And now I have my first one. And you'd make 2 of these just like this. I like to work them the same at the same time usually, but I am just going to make 1 set of earrings. So I'm going to move to the next length, which is going to be my emerald, and it's going to use the link with the 4. So I'm only going to do 1 part of my earring, you know, 1 earring, and then finish the second earring later, so that I can have my pair. But if I was you, I would do these in sets and do your other one at the same, you know, now that I've done this one, do your other one. It makes it easier to match them, especially if you do them right now and then maybe you got to go have dinner and then you come back. Then you come back and you're going to be able to make these ones look the same. So even if these ones don't look the same as those, at least they, like, each tier looks the same. It takes just a little bit of practice. It gets easier the more you do. Now remember, I've been doing this technique for like at least 20 years now. So it's easier for me because of that. But when, you know, that first year, they were harder. I've had to cut and restart many times. So you don't like it, cut it off, start again. And I suggest to try, you know, like the leaves or a glass bead. So if you only have 2 of something and you're not sure if you're worried about breaking them, try something that you have multiple of so that you don't have to worry about it as much. Hi, Teresa. So I'm going to put our YouTube channel on here, and after the live, because I have not graduated to doing streaming both on Facebook and YouTube at the same time yet. So after the live, after the video, I will be transferring this over. So it takes a little while. It takes a couple hours for it to download all this stuff. But once it's done, I'll get it over there. So it'll be available to view after. And I will get our YouTube channel there so you can go and grab. In the comments, I just added our YouTube channel. You can go on there, follow us, and then you'll be able to see it. Yes, the dangle is very sweet, and you should not, and the thing is, the more you do, the easier it gets. So it'll be really nice, you know, once you've done it a few times, and your first ones are going to just be just as beautiful. And when they're all, you might look at this by itself and go, oh, it's not so bad. But when it's dangling with the others on your earring, you're not going to know. It's going to look so pretty, right? Okay, so we're going to do this again, but this time I'm going to be adding that 4-link chain, but I'm going to, not yet though. Got to start the briolette already, right? So about an inch and a half to an inch and a half down. You could go even 2 inches down if you want to have a little bit more of a piece of wire to hold, because sometimes that is needed, but an inch and a half is really good. I'm going to hold right with my Chainnose Pliers. Thank you, Leanne. Yes, exactly. So then you can click the save and then subscribe and save, and that'll go in there. And so later this evening, well, it'll be evening for me. It might be really late at night for some. It will be up. So if it's too late for you, might check tomorrow morning. it'll be there. Like I said, it takes a little while for all of the digital downloading to happen on these. Okay, so I didn't make as sharp of a term this time because I noticed the last time I did it too sharp, so I just made a smaller dent. You can always adjust that. So like you got to adjust it to your bead. Sometimes you want it more angled, sometimes you want it less angled. So you're going to adjust it, and you can always adjust it even after you get your bead on. And I'm going to put my next color, which is my emerald heart that I'm using. Hanging out right there. I do need to have a little bit more of a bend. So I'm going to get my pliers back into that spot and bend it a teeny bit more. There we go. So before I flipped it over this way and held it with my left and then bent it with my right, I'm going to try doing, no, I'm just going to do it that way. It's just easier for me. What am I doing? Find what's easier for you. You might decide that you want to hold with your right and bend with your left. I'm going to grab hold of that 1.5 inch piece into my pliers right at the bend and try to cover as much of that wire as possible right at that bend. And then take my other pair of Chainnose pliers and start the bend with the pliers. Move them up a little bit to continue so that you can keep bending it over because you want these to eventually cross over. I can get my pliers back in and kind of squeeze down on it to get a little bit sharper bend if I need to. Try not to put any pressure on that bead. Cross these over. Ooh, they're twisted. We don't want to twist them. We just want to cross them, build it up. I didn't grab my Sharpie, but by the way, if you're trying, what the Sharpie's for is trying to keep your loops the same size, you're going to want to mark them. I'm going to pretend this is a Sharpie. I forgot to grab one. You mark them on your pliers. Oh, well, look, you got a little pencil mark. I don't know how long that's going to last. Well, the Sharpie will last a little longer than this, but here you go. I got a little line there. Oh, no. Make that go all the way around. I like to just get it on both sides. You can barely see it because it's not real an ink. So, but it's there. So that way, when I go to do my loop, it's going to look, it's going to match better. I am going to kind of compare my triangle and get it semi-close. That's pretty close, so I'm happy with that. If it was bigger, I'd try to make it smaller. If it was smaller, I might open it up a little. Hold on to one side of the triangle underneath where the wires cross. Now this is the 1.5 inch piece, so I'm going to take that 1.5 inch piece and I'm going to use the tips of my other Chainnose pliers and bring it straight up. Flip it around here. Hold on to the other triangle under where they crossed over, and I'm going to take my pliers and bend it straight out. So I want a nice right angle between the short end and the long end. Right? Then I'm ready to take my Roundnose pliers again. And that's where, see how I have my line, you can barely see that little bit of a purple line there, but that's where my loop was, size loop, so that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to try to aim about the same amount of space for my leg. I'm going to hold on to this side of the triangle and twist away with the pliers slightly. Then I'm going to take my, that was just to brace it so I don't put any pressure on my bead. And then I'm going to take my wire, go over my pliers and stop there. Kind of looks like a weird question mark if I hold it this way, I guess, with a long nose. And then I'm going to grab hold, and again I'm putting it where the line is. You can see that very faint purple line right, where's my, right there. And take that short end, go underneath. So I am just getting like, I'm going to do a wrap loop, right? Hold on right into that loop right inside and bring that wire exactly. It'll be a little bit before we actually get that. Always good to remind yourself to look, right? So then, so I got a little wonky there, so I'm going to take my Chainnose pliers and kind of straighten that out a little bit. Now I'm going to cut right above where the wrapping wire is. I cut the leftover of the 1.5 inches. Press this down. Now, if this was my peridot, I would just wrap, but because I want to hook this to my chain, this is where I want to do it right now. I want to get that little leg inside the bottom of my link. And if you forget to do this, you could always just add a jump ring. You can always just do, like if the, hold on a second, what's wrong with my, oh, I was like, what's wrong with that link? It's the cut link. Okay. Let's get in there. Come on, you can get in there. I know you can. When in doubt, go grab your pliers to hold it, and then you can kind of push it in there. See, now it's going to be there. So occasionally this is going to feel very dangly and in the way, so it's okay if you want to add, just make them plain and not connect them directly to the chain, and just use some jump rings to attach them. Hold on to the triangle part that is connected to this wrapping wire, right? Because you want that nice and sturdy so that you can start wrapping around and catching that leg. Like that. And then cut that extra wire. Press in that little end. And now I have my first emerald dangle. Woohoo! So that's 2 parts of my earring. My next is my dark indigo that I'm going to put on the longest one, which is 8 links. Have a fabulous weekend. I hope you stay warm, Nicole, and I hope your mother is doing well since last week and healing well. I wish you both the best and see you next week, hopefully. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to take about 1.5 inches from one end, bend it into my triangle. It's a hit and miss if I get the bend too tight or not. And yes, it is so much faster just to put this on And you can do that if you want to. I'm just showing you how to do it so that if you wanted to tackle those beautiful stones that have those tiny holes and those tiny tips and are easy to break, this is the way I tackle them so I don't break as many. Hold on to the 1.5 inch side with your Chainnose pliers at that corner. I know it seems so tedious, but it gets easier. Start to bend with the other pair of pliers. Move the wire. Want them to. Sometimes you have to kind of play with it from both sides to get them so that they bend the way you want it to bend. Awesome, Nancy. Yes, they'll be available to watch from the beginning after we are done with our live. I'm showing kind of a more detailed way of doing these briolettes so that you're able to not break the tips off as often, especially when you get into the stones. It's great to practice on a glass. The crystal's a little delicate, almost as delicate as the stones, but if you did like the original that we did was the leaves, the glass leaves, check glass leaves, and if you do something like that or drop the check glass drops, they don't break nearly as easily, so it's a great way to practice. So once I have my little triangle shaped crossover, I need my short end to go straight up and my long end to go to the side. So I'm going to hold on to the base of the triangle with my pliers here. So this is the 1.5 inch side. So I'm going to go and I'm going to hold it underneath where the two wires cross so that I can take my other pair of Chainnose pliers, grab that wire and bend it so that it goes straight up. Thank you, Nancy. And then I'm going to flip it over. Now I have the long end of the wire going right underneath. So this is the long end, not the 1.5 inch. I'm doing it under where they crossed over, and I'm going to take my Chainnose pliers, grab hold of it, and make the bend so it goes straight outwards from it. So you kind of want to get as close to a 90-degree angle with these wire ends. So there you go. That looks good. I'm going to switch over to my Roundnose pliers. And again, I made that very faint purple line. Use a Sharpie or use a permanent marker that is darker so you can see yours easier than mine. Hold it at that line a little bit above with your Roundnose pliers. I'm going to hold that base. You can either hold it right under here like that. Sometimes that's easier to hold to do it. Sometimes it's easier to go back to the triangle side and hold it. But I'm going to twist away with the pliers just slightly. I only go about like a 45-degree angle. Then I'm going to grab this wire and bring it up and over so it's in the opposite direction here, going in front of my pliers. So I've got almost a whole wrap loop. I'm going to finish making that wrap loop or the loop part like that. So like this would be like if I'm doing a wrap, right? Then I'm going to take my tips of my pliers, not my line, I'm going to double check and make sure it sits on my line so that it's the same size as, and it does, you could barely see that purple, so that they'll be relatively the same as the other. But this time I'm going to grab that tip of the pliers and pull it downwards so that it's going straight down. So I'm making 2 little stems right there, because we're going to catch those with this wire. But you want to, now I've seen people not want to cut this yet because they feel like they need to wrap it before they cut it. I promise you it's better to cut it, because if you cut it now, you're more likely to cover it all and not see the end. When you don't cut it now, like if you were to start wrapping it right now, I have seen where people will then cut it after the wrapping, and they either, it's sometimes hard to get it really close, so then you have this little tail sticking out still, which is not a big deal in the big whole long scheme of things, but you know, and sometimes it does look a little more, it shows more in some projects. Okay, so I'm just going to cut it right where this wire is. I'm going to cut that extra part on that short end off. So I just got my little leg there. I'm going to take my Chainnose pliers and make sure my leg is up against, oops, I didn't do it on camera, sorry. I just kind of like press those together so that they, like that, and making sure, and together here, because you want to get them as close to each other as possible. I'm going to take my long chain, the 8 link chain that I'm doing, because this is my bottom one, and I'm going to hook it in before I do my wrap. I'm going to grab hold of that end. I'm going to use my pliers to hold it because it's easier, and I just need to put that little leg, get in there into that link, and now it's going to be caught into my loop. Hello, Linda, welcome. Grab hold of that end of the triangle. And this is the side of the triangle part that is that is the wire that's with the wrapping wire. Oh, fabulous. I love it. I would love to see who is going to take this idea and make it their own. What do you have in your stash that you want to use this with? When we did the pretty leaves back, so originally it was November of 2020 is when we did our pretty leaves earrings originally. So that's why I'm kind of revisiting it, because it's such a great technique. And I know, Sandra, you have used this technique on a lot of things and reused it. And it's so fun seeing what you make with it. I would love for other people to show what you make with it too, because it is useful for so many things, right? It would look really pretty with stars. I just happen to have hearts, but I also have stars. So I might have to do my stars. I was thinking about pulling out I have some labradorite stars, and I was thinking about doing these with those, either the labradorite, or I also have amethyst, so I might do the amethyst. So you might see some other projects that I do with my own personal stash that I want to make with these. But you know, just because I'm making earrings doesn't mean it's only for earrings. This is great to dangle off of a pendant. This is a great, great way to add. You can make a bunch of these and add them to a bracelet. You can make get at sun catchers. Great way to use them in sun catchers, right? So many ways to use this technique. I'm just showing you earrings right now. All right, so I have my 3. And again, if I was doing this, if I was making the full set today, normally what I suggest is to do the same tier. Make sure you do both of them at the same time. You do this one and then do that one, and then do this one and then that way, then this one and then that. Instead of going first tier, second tier, third tier, and then go back over here and do first, second, and third like I'm doing here today, because I'm only going to do the one to show today, I suggest to do them even. So therefore, if you're, especially with earrings, or if you're doing, even if it's a necklace or something that you have like a tiered thing like this, then at least the same tiers, oh, you can't see it because it's not on. Hello. Maybe if I made it so it's on all the way. So that way your first tier is going to look similar if you make them right after each other, and then the second tier right after each other, and the third tier right after. At least the tiers will look the same. So even if the 1 and 2 don't look the same, at least the 1s look the same, and the 2s look the same, and the 3s look the same, and it'll give you that symmetry that you want. And it's okay if they don't look as close. Oh, I hope. Joyce, that is wonderful. I cannot wait to see if you want to share what you do with yours. I would love to see it after you've done. The chain that I showed you will be available on Etsy. So this weekend, I think I'm going to be able to get the numbers up while the video is downloading to YouTube. So it should be later this evening, and as soon as it is, we will try to do a post so that you know. But yes, there, those 3 chain will be available. Okay, so now that I got my one earring, all I have to do now is to connect them with my ear hook. You could do this with a jump ring if you want to, but I am going to, this one has a really good size loop on it, and I'm going to just do it with this. Now this is going to be my Joyce's little, and me, Joyce, not the other Joyce, my little tidbit, my little thing about earrings. When they come, most of the time they are bent so much. The part of the reason why they fall out of the ear is the part that goes to the ear, you know, so that it's balanced. See how far into this wire that is? I want it to hang like this. So what I usually do is undo this bend just a tiny bit. So I take it in my Chainnose pliers, and I just press, kind of bend it. And now, do you see how when it's going to be in the ear, it's going to be more straight down, and it's not going to, this is not going to be as far out and less likely to slip out. So if you see how that is, how different they are, see how that one has such a big bend and then that one doesn't. That's what I usually like to do for mine. I like to recenter those. They do that so that the bead doesn't fall out in the manufacturing, I guess, or I don't know. Maybe they think this is the way to design them. I don't know. But I found that if I did that if I repositioned it so that it's not as angled, they hang in my ear better. So that's my own little thing. I'm going to open up this. I'm going to slide the first one on. Then the second. Now, if you are doing the ones with the AB, you're going to want to make sure that you are getting the AB to the back or the AB to the front or whatever. You know, get them, but it's nice when they're not those, so that you can just kind of get them onto place, and you don't have to worry about a true front and back. I'm gonna have to pay attention to my stars, I think. But there is my earring. I love it. I love those colors together. Oh. So what are you gonna make with these? What do you think you're gonna make? Are you gonna make a pair of earrings? Are you gonna add dangles to a necklace? Are you going to add these to a bracelet? What kind of things do you want to use this technique with? If you make something with this, oh, absolutely. When I flip the camera, I'm going to stick this in my ear. And when I flip the camera, you'll be able to see how that looks. I'm going to put this one on in the other ear so you can see where that one is. What are you thinking that you might make with this? Are you going to want to make earrings? You know, that's great to see here, Christine. I'm so glad that you are having fun. I know sometimes it is hard to do at first, but the whole point is we want to have fun, right? I'm going to add you can always post what you make on our Just Beat It page, but if you are part of our group, you can definitely post there and show. Oh, awesome. Awesome. I know sometimes it's like a watch first and try later, right? Hey, even if you're watching this in a replay, maybe it is even 6 months from now. Let's see if I can get this back up. Boo, boo, boo. There we go. Are we back up? Now I got to get this so that it doesn't fall. Can we get it to not fall? I don't know. Ooh, sometimes it's hard to get this right. Bear with me as I readjust. Wait, oh, come on. No, I don't know why isn't it holding it. Oh, there it's holding. Okay. Oh my gosh, couldn't even do that. Good to hear. I'm glad you're going to be trying. So yeah, go ahead. Try, if you try it, share on our Just Beat It page or on our Just Beat It Happy Beaters group page. I would love to see it. Oh, you're going to use one of this in your with your larger crystals and make a pendant. Perfect. Yeah. So it is a great for if you have bigger crystals or bigger stones that have a top drill and you don't want to just string through it because it goes the other wrong way or something. This is a great technique for that. Yes, I did. And we haven't changed them out. We're going to get some heart stuff up there. Soon, very soon. But yes, this is the earring right here. Here, I have the red one on the other side. Get my hair up and then you can see it better. They are hiding in my hair because of the color. There you go. They're great little dangles. You can see, let's see. This is the one with this is on a larger ear hook, larger chain, and larger stones, but it gives you that same look. And a little larger in those amethysts. Absolutely. You can do this, anything with that top drill. So I've done this with drop beads. You could do this with like the crystals that are rounded, but as long as it has a top drill or a hole on the top. Well, I'm really, yes, it's like a little waterfall of hearts. Great little simple gifts that you can make too. Anyway, have a fantastic weekend. I hope that you had fun and enjoyed. Oh, I meant to show these under. So yes, these chains, for those that didn't, we have 3 different chains that are going to go up. So I used the little circle chain. You can't see because I got to like do the fancy hand thing. No, you're not going to see that. And the other 2 chains that we showed earlier are going to go up. This video is going to be available to to watch as a replay afterwards, and also up on our YouTube. I am so glad to see everyone. I'm so happy that this happened. Today. It's such a wonderful way to spend Saturdays with you. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend. If you make something, share with us, and hopefully I can share more inspiration with next time. And next week we'll have something at 2 o'clock also. I'm just trying to make a decision on what that is. We are for our January, well, that next weekend is going to be the first one in February. So January, February, and March, we are revisiting some of our wonderful projects from 2020 and 2021. And then we'll have some new projects in April ready to go. Take care. Have a fabulous weekend. Love you all. Bye.